Hello, everybody. It is Ignatius L Jackson CPA back with you again for another exciting video on my YouTube channel. I know I've been away for a little bit. I had to hunker down and get some work done. Had a lot of stuff that I was behind on, and just wanted to come back to the field and try to get you guys back with some awesome information that's going to help you to build financial wealth, help your family out, hopefully help your business out if you have a business. All great information. We're going to talk today about an event that I spoke at back in early May called the Accounting Web Summit. I'm going to basically do a three-part series where I'm going to talk through the three topics that I mentioned during that summit to other CPAs and other tax professionals that were in attendance. And today's topic, we're going to start with health savings accounts. And so today we're going to talk about health savings accounts and the benefits of that. So if you want to learn more about some stuff you could do to save you some money on healthcare, go ahead and stick around. All right, we're back. So today we are talking about things that you can do to save money on healthcare, so health savings accounts. As you can see from my screen here, we have the presentation that I did for Accounting Web during, looks like the dates were May 9th to the 12th, as you can see there on the screen. And so today we're going to just go through this presentation with you. And it should be some pretty cool information for you, and hopefully you enjoy it. So let's just hop right on in. All right, so first, just wanted to, as usual, just bring up some info. Okay, this is obviously a little bit about me. So if by now you don't know enough about me, then I don't know what to tell you. Now, I will say that this presentation was also done with my co-host. So there's also a slide in here from him, about his business. He primarily focuses on high net worth individuals, but Eric here, CPA. He's also the co-host with me on the podcast called the CPA Huddle. So definitely go and check that out if you haven't listened to that video yet. It's pretty cool. All right. And then obviously there's always a little bit of a disclaimer in any presentation that we do that, this doesn't constitute advice. If you want to protect yourself from tax penalties and issues and things of that nature, things need to be specific to your situation. There's all kinds of facts and circumstances they have to consider. So you have to basically engage us if you're trying to save yourself some true money. But this should give you some good ideas on some things to maybe talk about with your tax professional or CPA that you're using. And if you don't have one, then hey, we may be able to help you out. Okay, so let's talk about health savings accounts. Okay, this stuff is awesome. I love health savings accounts. It's one of my favorite topics because it's a great way to save for healthcare. But a lot of people actually do it the wrong way. And so we're going to talk about how you can do it in a way that's going to save you a lot more money. And we're going to even show you an example of why you want to do it the way that I'm telling you to do it, because ultimately you would run out of money the way that most people use these accounts. Okay? So let's do this. All right, so the funds go into the account tax-free. What does that mean? That means you get a tax deduction on your tax return for contributing to an HSA. Oh, and guess what? There's no income limit for this. Oh, and guess what? It's adjusted annually for inflation. And you know what's crazy? Going into 2023, I have the limits here for 2022. Going into 2023, I think they raised it like $400. For a family that you can put into these plans. It's something crazy like that. They just came out with this, so I don't have it memorized off the top of my head. But I mean, these are great accounts, okay? And the other benefit is it's a twofer, right? It comes out tax-free. Who would have thought? This thing can go into your account tax-free, and the money can come out and grow tax-free as long as you use it for healthcare costs, okay? And I'm like, whoa, what a powerful account. And a lot of people don't really understand it or don't utilize it. And so today we're going to talk about what you can do. So during 2022, the maximum contribution to an HSA account is $3,650 for an individual or $7,300 for a family. Okay. If you're 55 or over, you can contribute an extra $1,000. Okay. And there's no income limit, like I said earlier, for the tax deduction, unlike the IRAs and some other retirement plans and other stuff that you have out there. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Here's one of the areas where a lot of people screw it up. If both spouses are over 55, then you should do an individual HSA instead of a family HSA. Why is that? Because if you did an individual HSA, each of you would get an extra $1,000 instead of only one person or the family plan getting the $1,000. Okay. And so that's going to give you a combined maximum contribution each year, if you're 55 or over, of $9,300 per year. Powerful, powerful thing that you have to keep in mind. Another strategy that people often forget about when it comes to HSAs, you should not necessarily get reimbursed from the HSA right away or use the debit card to purchase the health expenses. Instead, pay out of pocket with some other credit card or bank account or something like that. Now, if you're paying interest, this doesn't really make sense. You shouldn't use interest to pay for your healthcare expenses, because it's going to be more than the money that you're probably earning if you're using your credit card and paying interest on that credit card. Okay. But outside of that, as long as you have cash available and using cash in some way, shape, or form, I mean, you can still use a credit card, get the rewards, and just pay it off each month, right? So you have to use a credit card responsibly. But if you do that, this is a powerful, powerful strategy. Okay. And instead of getting reimbursed right away or using a debit card for that, what you want to do is go ahead and invest those funds. So you want to have an HSA account where you can invest the funds into that account each year and help it grow and help it develop and just, we want it to go like this in a big old up chart, right? And so if you do it that way, you're going to have a lot more money to be able to spend and get reimbursed at some point in the future than if you were to just get it done right away. And we're going to show you why. Okay. Here's an example. So if you're a single taxpayer and you have an HSA eligible plan, all right, then and you make a contribution of $304 for a maximum contribution of $3,650 per year. Okay. For 10 years, and this example is going to ignore any annual inflation adjustments just for the sake of argument, okay? And if you invest that HSA in some strategy that results in a 7% annual return, okay, compounded monthly, and you incur $4,000 in medical expenses per year, and you save the receipts, after 10 years, you want to get reimbursed for $40,000 in medical expenses incurred over the 10 years. This is the example. You're going to save the receipts. You're going to get reimbursed after 10 years for $40,000 in medical expenses that you incurred over those 10 years. Okay. Now let's do the math on this. If you have $4,000 in medical expenses per year and you got reimbursed right away, or you used the debit card to pay for it, and you're only able to put $3,650 in per year, something's off here, right? Yeah, you have a deficit of $350 per year that you're not able to actually utilize the HSA for, because the maximum contribution is only $3,650. Did you pick up on that? All right. So if that's the case, then that means there's $350 in medical expenses each year that I can't really do anything with. At least most people can't. Now, there's a potentiality that you might be able to itemize and do a Schedule A deduction on your tax return, but in all my tax returns that I've done, all the years that I've been doing them, I've only seen maybe a few people actually meet that threshold. And usually it's because they had a really bad year of income wise and ended up having a low enough income where they can actually write some of that off as itemized deduction. But usually you're not going to be able to utilize those unless you've got like an HSA or a health reimbursement arrangement, which we're not going to talk about today, but that's another topic. Okay. So yeah, powerful, powerful stuff. All right. So let's talk about how you could get the full $4,000 in a tax efficient manner by doing the strategy that I mentioned earlier. So at the end of 10 years, if you did this scenario where you saved the receipts and you got a 7% annual return compounded monthly, you'd have $52,618 in the account after 10 years. let's do the math on that again. You had $40,000 of expenses. That means instead of not having enough to cover all the expenses, you now have an extra $12,618 after you get reimbursed for all $40,000 of expenses that's still invested and growing. That's why it's bolded, okay? That's why we're bolding it, because you still have money left over. What's the smarter way to do that? I just showed you, okay? If the taxpayer had taken the money out, obviously, you wouldn't be able to do that, okay? So powerful, powerful stuff, guys. And guys and gals, excuse me. And 10% monthly compounded return. If you had a 10% monthly compounded return instead of 7% monthly compounded return, your balance would be $62,273 after 10 years. And I've seen accounts where the returns are greater than 7%, greater than 10%, even greater than 15%. Okay, I've seen accounts that have these, and that's because they're doing stuff not just in the stock market. I've seen accounts that have 20, 25, 30% return sometimes. Okay, so you just have to think about what you want to invest in and invest it wisely. And if you do that, that account can grow exponentially and ultimately save you a ton of money over the long run. Okay, and you're crazy if you don't think you're going to need to spend money on healthcare costs at some point in the future. All right, you're crazy if you don't think that's going to be the case. So but even better if you don't even take the $40,000 out and you just let it keep growing, because the more you leave it in there, the longer you leave it in there, the more it's compounding. I've talked about that before. The more money you're going to make over time. Okay, that's the topic for today. Nice, short, and sweet. If you haven't checked out my podcast yet with my co-host Eric Pierre CPA, definitely check us out. These are our Twitter symbols as well. Twitter @, whatever you want to call it, okay, usernames. And so go ahead and follow us, and then check out the CPA Huddle podcast. I mean, we have some cool content coming up here, and so definitely want you to take advantage of that and encourage you to go ahead and ask any questions if you have any or anything like that as well, because this is a powerful, powerful strategy doing the HSA. I'm going to be back with you with a couple more slides from the presentation I did for Accounting Web, and also some other content here in the near future. You're going to start to see a lot of stuff dropping on the channel, so stay tuned. All right, hope everybody has a good day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.